Yes, everybody. Us on the West Ham Network. Hope you're safe, Mel. Hope your Thursday's going swimmingly. Obviously, only a few days into March. One person who it sounds like he's not going to have a good March is Lucas Paqueta, with the hearing due to take place this month, which could last for 3 weeks, being the FA's longest hearing in its history, its entirety. We spoke about that this morning, and how, according to Sky Sports, the FA are pushing hard for a lifetime ban for Lucas. But there's a lot more decisions to be made this summer, with players coming back from loan spells, contracts as well. We've spoken about Aaron Cresswell and Antonio and things like that. And indeed, we're going to be talking about Lucas Fabianski tonight in our brand new show, Hammer's Hot Takes, which is live and interactive. We've got Ryan from West Ham Fan TV. We've got Darren Blewett, former West Ham youth team player. We've got Alex from the West Ham Network Extra. And we've got Grace from Grace Wild Footballs on TikTok, all debating some hot takes, one of them being whether Lucas Fabianski should be offered a new deal, and many others. And the idea is they give their opinions, and you can vote how you want to vote in terms of, do you agree or disagree with the statement, that type of thing. And we'll see how those scores divvy up. It's quite interesting. Obviously, I've got the answers. I've already given the guys the questions, and they give me their answers already. So there's a lot of similar answers, but for some, and quite a few of them actually, they're very sparsely different. So it'd be interesting to get their differing opinions. But one player who we believe will be out the door is Vladimir Coufal. In all honesty, now his contract was it 3 months? 3 months to go. His contract, you would have assumed already he would have been offered a new deal if he was going to be staying at the club. Obviously, as soon as Aaron Wan-Bissaka came and joined, he took over from Vlad as the first right back of choice, and there's no doubting for me, Wan-Bissaka's been the best signing we've had in the summer or this year entirely. But a report from Czech news outlet In Football yesterday believed that Coufal has already got one foot out the door ahead of a summer transfer window. It's there's a fair few clubs that have been mooted with interest in the veteran defender, with Fulham among the most likely, most heavily linked to a move. He is very settled in London. He's very settled in the UK. So it would not be surprised me if he ends up at someone like a Fulham or someone like that and staying in the UK, or even Everton, as we've been linked with him, and potentially a Thomas Souček move as well. But I could see Vladimir maybe going to Everton on a free transfer potentially. It's at the moment, it's anyone's guess where he's going to end up. I don't think he'll end up in a West Ham shirt next year. No doubt he'll want to go out in a bang, and have one last move, and retire in 2-3 years' time potentially. I mean, he's been a stalwart for the club, obviously coming from Slavia Prague, being sort of recruited by Thomas agent Souček. I remember that Leicester City game, the first game he played, having only just joined. Not a step out of place. Looked like he'd been playing in that position in that team for years. Be sad for him to go, but I think sometimes, and we mentioned it, I think sometimes we're too sentimental when it comes to players. And indeed, in the same breath, we'll moan that the squad size is really old. The age of the squad is very old, and we haven't got a very youthful squad, but we'll go, I'll give him another year. I'll give him another year. Oh, it's another 12 months. Oh, it's that itself to me prolongs and increases the age, because he's only going to get older. He's not Benjamin Button. It does seem that he will be moved along in the summer and out of contract, and good luck to him wherever he goes. One player who has got his West Ham career fairly in his sights is Callum Marshall. He recently had sort of an interview article written with Rashane Thomas at The Athletic, talking about how he wants to progress at the club. He wants to, be involved in the first team at West Ham, particularly with Graham Potter now, and seeing the effect of his peers, really, the likes of Ollie Scholes and Lewis Orford and Caelan Casey, all getting minutes now in the Premier League under Potter. He's keen to get involved in that. However, this year he's got 9-10 goals, something like that, 4 assists in 36 appearances across all competitions, and in this article that Rashane wrote, there was a suggestion that maybe he's going to follow the Freddie Potts path, in that Freddie went League One with Wickham, and then the following year he did the Championship with Portsmouth. Currently, now obviously we know Callum went to West Brom in an ill-fated loan spell, and then this year's had a much more successful time at Huddersfield Town, obviously in League One, and the potential could be a move to the Championship on loan next year. And I, for one, don't think that's a bad idea. And the reason being is we've got Daniel Cummings coming in, hopefully, in the summer, and we'll talk about him because he's had a decent game at the weekend. We'll talk about the Hammers headlines. But also next year, you've got to think again. Looking at the players out of contract, Danny Ings, he's not going to be offered a new deal. I think Antonio will be offered a new 1-year deal if he can prove his fitness, coming back from his injury, which does seem like he will be. But that'll be a 1-year deal. So the idea being Daniel could come in and basically take over from Danny Ings in the squad. That's apparently what he's been not promised, but there's been a suggestion that he will be fast tracked into the first team squad, and that's part of the reason why he will be joining us in the summer. No official announcement, but the idea being is, I think part of the reason is so we don't officially announce him and he gets injured, and then we're sort of stuck with him, so to speak. But that's a simple 1 in, 1 out. Next year, you got to think Antonio will be a bit part player next year. In all honesty, if he gets a 1-year deal, if he then the 26-27 season, Callum comes back after a successful season in the Championship. Let's hope, and it could be he could even stay with Huddersfield because they could potentially go up, and so there's also the backup as well. Just thinking about it, if we don't, I mean, we're going to be talking about a number of strikers are being linked to in the summer. But if that doesn't happen, it could be advantageous to keep Marshall, or even another one. He could actually, someone like Huddersfield might buy him. Thinking about it, if they went up, he's been an integral part of their season this year. But there's definitely some sort of progress with Callum. Personally, I don't see the point of him coming back if there's not space for him in the side to get regular team football. He'll learn a lot better going out and playing in the Championship properly next year, having had a League One season behind him. Very reminiscent to Freddie Potts. Freddie Potts has this year gone on leaps and bounds at Portsmouth. He comes back and Guedo Rodriguez leaves. He slots into that position in the squad. Simples, as Alexander the Meerkat would say. But I think it's really fascinating to see how that works. And also, there is another hot shot in our midst. And you would have known about him. We've spoken about him. Anyone who watches the Academy show, he's scores a lot of goals as old Josh Ajala. Obviously, yesterday we spoke about the under-18s getting through to the final of the Premier League trophy, Premier League Cup rather, where they'll play Reading in the final. We won 3-1 with 2 goals, all scored by Josh's, 2 for Josh Ajala, and a Josh Landers goal in the middle. That's 3 goals he scored from since joining in February from Hibernian. This, as I said, there's a lot of hysteria about him at the moment, because he's scoring lots of goals, and I think another season in the under-21s, or maybe even a loan spell, but I think maybe a loan spell might be better for him actually. But we need to tie him down to a big deal, and I think we are now. The likes of Ollie, Lewis, they've been tied down to 4 or 5 year deals with year options on top. I think it only makes sense to tie Josh down. I believe he's still got a year or 18 months left in his contract, something like that. But he needs to be tied down to a deal. There is a player there. There is a fox in the box there. There is a very clinical striker. Bulks up, gets a bit stronger. And I think we've got a very special player there who knows the back of the net. But he needs the right. He doesn't, throw him into the pit. Just put him in the side. The trouble is, for a player, for a youngster, that's a huge step up. And physically, he's not ready for that step up. We had this with Miko Adebeku. We've had this with other strikers who were absolutely scoring for fun in the under 21s, and then just weren't ready for that step up. And I think Josh needs that next, whether that is a loan spell out, which could benefit for him, being knocked about by centre halves, old fashioned centre halves for a season. Look at Jermaine Defoe when he went to Bournemouth, and he was a tiny fella then. Went to Bournemouth and got was one goal away from Pele's record or something like that in terms of scoring continuous goals, and then that set him up for a phenomenal career in the Premier League and for England as well. Very special player, and I think you got to think him, Callum Marshall, Josh Land. To be honest, Josh Landers, he has got some. He's a strong lad. Do you know what I mean? He's looking forward to seeing a lot more from Josh Landers in next season. Definitely. You got to think him. You got guys like Cam as well. I think Cam is probably not past it, but I think if he would have made the jump, he would have made the jump about a year ago into the first team, but never really. I just don't think he's good enough. Both Joshes definitely. I've seen enough in Josh Landers in terms of him as a goal scorer. He's got something special about him. There's a reason why we got him from Hibernian, and also you got Daniel Cummings coming in as well. So we're in a good stead, for the academy in terms of forward lines. We had some great performances yesterday. Amike played well, and plenty more. So we'll keep an eye on Josh, and obviously make sure you tune in to the Academy show every Monday, where we wax lyrically about the Academy players. Let me also remind you about tonight, 9 p.m. UK time, Hammer's Hot Takes, our new show format, live interactive. There's live polls and all that type of stuff. And hopefully you enjoy it, and it should be fun. Darren's on it, and Darren's fucking hilarious anyway. So he don't hold back anyway, so it'll be good fun. But anyway, take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. Let me know what you think about. Obviously, you might have watched the game on the under 18s yesterday. Watch the under 21s on YouTube. Do you think Josh Ajala's ready for the step up or not? Personally, I don't think he is. I think he needs to become physically stronger. Down the gym, bulking up a little bit. It doesn't have to be like Antonio, but strength training. Let me know what you think. You might have a different opinion. Hopefully you do, and we can have a good friendly mass debate about it. Anyway, take care. Much love. See you soon. Bye bye.